Welcome to the latest podcast episode of Fearless Singer. I'm Mel Lathuris, your host, and I'm waiting for Logic Pro to download onto my computer as well as GarageBand. And I'm getting better at not just sitting and waiting for things to download or upload. I now can do other things like record a podcast episode. I don't know why that's taken me to 41 to figure that out. I've always been a kind of a one at a time kind of gal, but now I'm like, no, I think my brain has capacity to do a little bit more multitasking. I am a woman after all. And I just wanted to say happy International Women's Day to all female identifying folk out there. It's a gloomy day in old Meanjin, and that's because we are post Cyclone Alfred. I always have to be mindful that I'm not going to call Alfred Albert. And yeah, it was a little bit of a fizzer for us. It was still a little bit spooky. I was in the alcove just behind this wall here, nestled in. Felt like a sleepover party from the 90s, except I lived by myself and it was only me who was giggling and telling myself ghost stories. Anyway, I digress, and today's episode is going to be a good one because we are talking about loving your voice and letting it take you places. What the hell does that mean? Well, let me explain that to you. G'day, welcome to the Fearless Singer podcast, the space where we ditch perfection, embrace the messy magic of creativity, and take up space like we bloody well mean it. I'm Mel Lathuris, soul jazz singer, vocal coach, creative biz mentor, and professional hype woman for femme singers who are ready to own their voice and let it take them places. But trust me, I wasn't always fearless. I went from crippling self-doubt, questioning if I even deserved to be on stage, to headlining shows and selling out Q-Pack. And now I'm here to help you do the same. If fear, self-doubt, and that inner critic have ever held you back from singing, performing, or putting yourself out there, this podcast is for you. Each week we dive deep into things voice, mindset, and music biz, plus real talk on navigating fear, building confidence, and creating a music business that you love. You'll hear from incredible artists, industry pros, and of course, me sharing hard-won lessons, game-changing techniques, and a whole lot of love. So if you're ready to stop waiting for permission, step into your power and sing like you mean it, hit follow, turn up the volume, and let's do this. This is the Fearless Singer podcast. Let's make some noise. I must say that this impending cyclone, because we were told that there would be power outages, got me into gear to start filming the Vocal Love Challenge, which starts on Monday. And I guess all of that drive and passion and 10 years of dreaming up a particular course that blends vocal science with energy work, namely emotional freedom technique, I just started making a full-on epic course. And I have now called it the Vocal Love Club, and it's going to be the home of the challenge. So the 30 days of the vocal routines and the tapping routines, plus all these modules on your nervous system, EFT tapping, a glossary of singing terms, and it's going to keep growing, and I'm really proud of it. And it's just one of those things that come about because you're under pressure. There's an actual proper deadline. You don't know if you're going to be weeks without power, so you better do this thing now. And it was like my Greek immigrant ancestors and my Queensland dairy farmer ancestors' work ethic got together, and I was a bit of a speed demon, and now it's created, and we start on Monday, and anyone who jumps in basically gets access to this whole course as it evolves, and will continue to get updates over a lifetime. And if you want to come on board and do the challenge and also take advantage of this course and our beautiful Facebook pop-up group, it's only $47. Reach out to me if you're keen to find out more, or you can just go to my website. All the details are there. But let's get back to this idea of loving your voice and letting it take you places. it sounds really whimsical, and we hear self-love get bandied around quite a lot, that maybe we've just lost a little bit of the deeper meaning and essence of what self-love is and what power can be generated from loving your voice. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. I was only a young thing when I discovered the wonderful Louise Hay. And if you have not heard of her before, she is the queen of self-love and affirmations. And she brought us this concept back in the 70s, but more so in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic in America. And she was put on stages and on TV sets, and her message was really deep and powerful, and it was about releasing shame through self-love. And through that, she healed the hearts of many, particularly homosexual men who were suffering from this virus, but had gone on, she's now since passed, to write some powerful books, including You Can Heal Your Life. And it came to me when I was a teenager. I didn't love myself particularly much when I was in my teens. I don't think a lot of people did, to be fair. And if you did, oh my gosh, you're an absolute anomaly. And yet the concept seemed really straightforward. However, it wasn't. At the time, standing in front of a mirror and actually looking at myself felt painful. So how could I stand in front of a mirror and tell myself that I love myself? But over the time of being a young adult and into my adulthood, I've learnt that the way forward and the way to overcome self-doubt, overcome the inner critic, overcome people reflecting back to you your insecurities, is to have a strong sense of self, as well as a strong relationship and love for self. And what I have learnt through the years of doing the inner work and maturing is that loving yourself is a daily practice. It is like any other relationship. We need to put in the work. We need to check in with our communication. What are we actually telling ourselves? Because the truth is, we are vibrating particles. Our cells are vibrating. This is 3D mass that is a result of these vibrating particles. And these particles listen to us. And we will start to become what we say we are. And this is why when you hear the idea of saying I am something, it has the power to change your life, has the power to change other people's lives, is true. I am is the most powerful expression you can use. So why would you put yourself down? If what you say you are is what you will become, then why would we choose to become a version of ourselves that we don't particularly want? And it's simply because it's what is familiar. We are used to having these not so lovely feelings about ourselves, or because of life circumstances, different events, our family life, our environment. Sometimes we can have been brought up in the best home life, however, have a really tricky time at school, or things are said to you by other peers and adults, and we start to take on what other people say we are. However, it does come back to a choice. And so the power of practicing I am statements that support us and are loving, and the practice of standing in front of a mirror and telling ourselves we love ourselves only just reinforces the belief that we are enough as we are. And so let's apply this principle to the voice, because our voice is in our body. It's part of us. Can you see how powerful it is to start developing a loving relationship with our voice and what could happen as a result of that? Particularly if you are a gigging singer or you want to sing or you want to perform, can you see how strengthening our relationship with the instrument that is going to take us places? And when I say take us places, I mean to different venues we want to perform at. Maybe we want a tour. Maybe we want a certain type of opportunity to be asked to collaborate on a songwriting project or an album. This is what I mean by letting our voice, or letting the love of our voice, take us places. Because the opposite is, if we tell ourselves that our voice isn't good enough, it means, one, we're not really showing up for it daily. We're not practicing at the level that we want to be practicing. Maybe we are doing that. However, these things aren't really changing for us because of our mindset, or because we're not open to certain technique that is going to help us. Can you see that will only deepen down that belief we're not enough, and therefore when opportunities do arise, if they do, we don't think we're good enough to go and do it. So this is why the practice of deepening this relationship with this amazing instrument that we have, all of us, is so powerful. Now you might be asking, but how do I do that? And let me tell you the ways. So number one, take an honest inventory of where you are right now in your relationship with loving your voice. Between 1 and 10, give yourself a number, or maybe just some descriptive words. Actually, I don't trust my voice. I'm not getting the sounds that I want to create. I love to sing. However, I may be receiving some lukewarm feedback from others. Just put all of your thoughts and feelings about your voice on a piece of paper, or give yourself a rating between 1 and 10. So where are you right now in terms of your relationship with your voice? The next thing is to write a list down of how you would like to feel about your voice. So you've got on one side of your paper a list of all the things that you perceive to be going wrong. And on the other side, you're going to flip that to, well, what is it that I want to feel in my singing? What is it that I want to be able to do? Make that list. The next thing you will want to do is to show up for it every day, like any relationship. When we are avoidant, guess what happens in that relationship? You're gone skis. So showing up for your voice, what does that look like? That can look like a daily vocal routine, focusing on vocal function. By the way, if you would like that, that is in the Vocal Love Club. You get a session every single day. It's a full workout. It could look like finding some vocal exercises online. You could also join the Fearless Singers free Facebook group, and there's some exercises in there. It could look like, I'm not into exercises. It could just be you playing the guitar or piano and improvising. That is legitimately sound, vocal warm-up and practice, is improvising with your voice. And plus, you might find a riff or an idea that you like, and you can turn it into a song. You could do both of those things. The next thing you could do as well is listen to music that really inspires you, and then maybe go and print off the lyrics of that particular song and just learn it in little sections. Now, we need to take honest inventory as to where we are also vocally. And that's not to put ourselves down. That is just to objectively listen and go, okay, I'm not quite matching pitch here. So what does that mean? That might mean that I need to look at learning pitch, so how to organize sound. Or perhaps, actually, I think pitch is okay for me, but I feel like this might be in a different key, and I need to play with keys to either bring it down or make it a little bit higher so I can match the pitch. It could also mean that you reach out to a vocal coach who can actually help you. I'm seeing more and more there's these apps, which, by the way, there are a lot of great singing apps. However, nothing beats actually going and seeing a vocal coach. You can be part of our Fearless Singer membership when we open our doors. You get coaching in a group setting. However, if you go, actually, I'd prefer the one-on-one, well, then there are plenty of incredible vocal coaches here in Brisbane, in Meanjin. I can point you in the right direction. It's also really important to work out, where am I on my musical journey? And not to feel disheartened by that, but to go, okay, well, I'm going to do a little bit every day to get to a point where you love your voice and you love the process. And that's another important piece of the puzzle. That's it. Falling in love with the craft. Honestly, it is a never-ending story, and thank goodness. Otherwise, life and music would be so boring. I love the fact that I can discover new sounds with this beautiful instrument that I have every single day. I love to be inspired by new music and try and replicate that. So finding a hook or something that's going to keep you really inspired by the process, the craft. Again, I love to listen to people who inspire me, and I never ever listen with ears of, I could never be like that. I would prefer to sound more like me. However, there might be a riff that I can lift and make it work for me in my singing and in my music. So yes, fall in love with the journey. The next thing is to listen out to how you are talking about yourself, and not just talking out loud, but also in your head. What's coming up for you when you are trying to do a section of a song that might be a bit challenging, or an exercise that's not quite sticking? What are you telling yourself? And again, you don't want to use that as an opportunity to beat yourself up either. We just want to see it as data, take a deep breath. We want to regulate our nervous system and tell ourselves something that's soothing. We want to almost treat ourselves like we are a child that is learning a new craft. You would never talk down to a kid. We've all been kids that have been spoken down to, or we've seen our friends experience that, or we know stories about our parents who were bullied by teachers, and we would never do that. So imagine that it's like you're in a child that is learning all of this, and be really encouraging. Give praise, but specific praise, and use growth mindset statements like, oh, not yet, but you're nearly there and you're going to get it. I absolutely believe in you. So we want to reframe how we speak to ourselves. Now, does that mean that, you have to be perfect at that 100% of the time? No, obviously we get to a point where, we do have this healthy self-talk, but that is also a process too. But it's important that we catch ourselves out. We don't beat ourselves up. We take a deep breath and do a lovely positive reframe. Now, tools that can help us with this as well. I just mentioned the breathing. So breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release for 8. That instantly takes us out of fight-flight response. Or we can do EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping. And this is what I teach in the Vocal Love Club, which is the home of the vocal challenge. But we'll have modules that are voice related and also modules on emotional freedom technique. It is super powerful and is all about reframing and rewiring, and has phenomenal results and countless studies that shows its efficacy. Now, I touched on this before, but when we are in good relationship with our voice, we are way more inclined to manifest these incredible opportunities to share it with the world. We're like, oh, I'm really loving how I'm doing that. Oh, I'm loving this repertoire. And then the universe is like, well, here you go. Go and share it over here and here and here, and work with this incredible person and this person. It's just one of those things that happen, especially when you have a gift, because I believe if you have a gift, it is really important that you share it with the world. It's even in the Bible. Don't ask me to quote it, but it's in the Bible. And even if for whatever reason you don't feel like you have much of a singing voice, I still believe you have a gift inside of you. And it's usually a message or a story, and in a medium that will present itself to you. And it could still be singing and performing, and you just haven't discovered that it is a talent for you yet. When we do love our voice, when these opportunities come up, we accept them because we know that we're capable of doing it. Even if there is a little bit of niggling self-doubt, we know that, I could actually do this. I'll be nervous as hell, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then over time, we just get even way more confident with that. So as you can hear, the journey to loving your voice isn't a quick one. However, why would you want it to be? This journey is so glorious. It's so much fun. And when you make that commitment to show up for your voice every single day and to be doing this inner work, honestly, just life starts to look like how it would with the rose-colored glasses, as they say, because it's inspiring. It's an inspiring way to live. So if anything here resonated with you, I always love to hear from you. So please leave a comment. Please, if you've got any stories or observations that have come up from this podcast episode, please let me know. Email me, DM me. You can also leave a comment. Also, please subscribe to this podcast. Give it a rating so that more glorious people like yourself are attracted to this one. And if you are keen to join us on this vocal love journey, we kick off 10th of March, Monday 10th of March. You'll get your first email at 6:45 with your 2 exercises. However, all of week 1's content is up. You can go in there and binge it if you like, or just wait to be drip fed over the weeks. And yeah, get in now at $47. Talk to you soon. Lots of love.